Let's go! Come on. Come on. Come on, Kareem. Come on. One. Let's... Right now? Yes. Let's kill this fucking boss. Come on. Let's go!
So I think I got my gaming start a lot differently than at least a lot of my peers. I started playing, I think I played like Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time as one of my first games, absolute classic. You know, I'd go over to my friend's house, play, you know, whatever they had, Mario Kart, stuff like that. Super like early Nintendo 64 basically was like that era. But as soon as WoW got a hold of me, it was like my main thing. World of Warcraft grasped me, but I feel like it grasped so many people because its sense of progression, not even just like a very natural way of like filling bars up and things like that, but just like progressing your character and your achievements you're getting and your gear and what you've actually accomplished and achieved in the game. That is something that, at least for a long time, no other game came close. It actually didn't like fully grasp me until I went really hard on it in college, and then raiding is what I fell in love with.
Oh, I'm not. I got. Oh my God! No! Back up! No! That didn't happen! No!
What other game can you like work closely with 20 people that you like strangely somehow get along with? What group project at work or school or anything where you're working with that many people is it like a seamless process where people generally get along? Like, it's really complicated, right? But like being able to overcome something genuinely that challenging with people that you like and enjoy, and that many of them, you can't replicate it anywhere else. The Race World first really bursted into popularity. You know, since it's come out, it has not stopped growing. A big part of that is because people have always wanted to see the top guilds play. It would have probably never happened if Method felt like they didn't have competition, and that's what happened kind of near the end of Legion, is their competition kind of died out. So they're like, okay, we can stream the Race World first. They didn't know we existed because we didn't know we existed. I think 5 days before the first race in Old Year, where we were just like, we usually raid all day the first day, let's just do this whole week, and then we're on the weekend, right? So might as well do it over the weekend. Let's take 5 days and go as hard as we can. And we ended up like almost winning that race with no experience. But Method probably would not have streamed if they knew that we were close to them, right? In fact, I think in an alternate timeline, if we would have randomly won that first race, I wonder what that would have done. I wonder if maybe they stop streaming and we don't start streaming because, again, winning is just so much more important. Back then, it was one team with any kind of money or sponsorship, and everyone else was just a group of friends playing the game for fun, and that was it. No one would have ever made it to this point by being motivated by money. You could have only made it to this point by genuinely loving what you're doing. We were just, again, like a group of friends playing together and like competing, and like we just did that for fun, and we were like, okay, let's try this. But over time, I mean, it's become so professional. I mean, when we started, we had exactly 26 raiders, I think, in a 20-man raid. Now we have close to 40 people, 32 raiders, and 8 people outside the raid that are like entirely dedicated to just improving the performance of people inside the raid. It's become an entire like coaching staff and everything. But on the road there, we spent the first couple of raids honestly just playing catch up. You know, we felt like we had a really good team, but in hindsight, I don't really think we had a legitimate chance of winning for a while, like 2 or 3 times into it, until we had that base level experience of really how this worked. And that's not even strategy. That's, you know, that's eating and sleeping. You're unable to even put yourself in the position to get better unless you're actually in the lead. And it took us just a long time of doing that, really, to get better. And then obviously now it's just progressed to a point where in these races, it's weird. It's not like you play every week, you play every 6 months, right? If like the 6 month later team were to go up against both us and Echo's, formerly Method's team, from 6 months prior, I mean, you would destroy them. That's how much it's advancing in that amount of time from one raid to the next. So it's been a lot of progress. Well, the first time we won, I would say was a lot. It was you know, we had been fighting from this with so much opposition. You know, we weren't streaming at first, so people were like anti us just because we were robbing them of content, I guess. It's like the first time we won was like just being able to say like we can do this, and it was a very dominant win.
Tanks are kiting in 3, 2, 1. Let's
And then to follow that up to say it wasn't a fluke or a one-time thing, we just won immediately right after that as well.
stay alive, ignore seeds.
Let's go, dude.
Wait, chill.
Come on.
Let's
I still remember I was in Discord with my friends and we were watching race together, and as soon as they won, I just like started bawling my eyes out, and just knowing how much effort he like put into it, it just like, I don't know, it made me so happy.
I don't know if being on top is what keeps you up at night as much as it just makes you have to work that much harder. And truly at a human level, it's hard to fight complacency when you win multiple times. You can preach it every day in a meeting. Let's not be complacent, let's not be complacent. But there's nothing that drives that level of like preparedness and passion and competitiveness than the sting of losing. You can never replicate how bad that feels without it actually happening to you. I used to think that we dealt with losing pretty well because like our guild doesn't like lose its morale. We're very productive, we're trying to get better. But I don't know if losing ever affected us like it did after this last race.
All right, chat. I have some news. So we are going to play until dinner tonight. Take some time off, spend some time together, maybe watch a movie, rent out a bowling alley. And then we are flying home tomorrow, and we are going to come back strong on Monday and finish the race.
Unfortunately, they had to, put their guildies' mental health first before, the win. So when they had to leave Boston and come back to LA, that was obviously heartbreaking.
First of all, it was really hard to learn from because we just, we don't know how much we did wrong near the end of the race naturally, like where our preparedness was wrong or where, like we were functionally doing things like because our philosophy is bad or something versus how much of it was our brains were just absolute mush after doing this for 3 weeks, deprived of sleep. And we were probably making bad decisions and becoming easily more frustrated because of all of those factors, right? How much should you change? What if you change everything you did wrong, but a lot of the stuff wouldn't have gone wrong if you weren't in that state? The guild now is very prepared. It's a different tone. It's much more serious. You can see it in testing. All of you guys will see it during the race. I would say we are taking this much more seriously than we ever have before.
So what I think makes Max a great raid leader is his ability to communicate, for one. He's very good at talking to people and knowing what they need to hear.
Being a good raid leader is pretty challenging. There's obviously a lot of things inside the game that are super important. You have to understand every class at as high of a level as you can to make the proper decisions of when you should be bringing them. But I think a lot of it comes down to your interaction with people. Yeah, actually, I'll point to a specific experience, actually. It was a job I had in my 20s, one of the many I had, where I worked at a restaurant. I actually managed my brother's restaurant. When you have to, manage not only the high school kid who's doing this, maybe doesn't want to, but needs money, versus, the 22-year-old who's doing it as a college job, versus, the 38-year-old person who's still living paycheck to paycheck and having to, keep all that in line, it's a lot going on. And honestly, it taught me a lot about people and I think how to lead the right way.
He knows how to control his emotions to sort of rally his raiders, and so that even if they're feeling down, they can look at Max and see that he's still going strong.
I think I gain a lot of perspective from what I'm doing now singing. I went to college for music and I spent some of my professional life in my 20s singing professional chamber music. Something you learn in groups like that is everyone has an incredible voice. But to sing really high quality chamber music, a lot of that is stripping that down and making sure you blend in. Most people are very confident singers. You want to be the person they hear if you're not in a solo. You want people to hear your voice. But in reality, to make a really good performance, you guys have to all kind of be on the same beat. You have to, be as one, kind of. And I think a lot of that is like raiding. You have really high level players and they know that they have to make the same sacrifices as everyone else, and most importantly, lead by example. So I think a lot of what I've done in leadership has certainly been the strategy and tactical side. We spend so much time thinking about that and doing that and surrounding myself with people who are really good at it. But I think something that I find and feel is really important is making sure that the atmosphere is right. There's personal accountability. It is completely not allowed to mess up and then just immediately try to blame someone else or even try to justify it or defend it. Even your best players will mess up and you move on and you go to the next thing. Everyone knows in my guild when I bring it up to them, it's not personal, but it does need to get brought up. Problems need to get solved. You can't just let everything slide by so everyone will be happy. We're a guild that's known for having an excellent atmosphere and being really good at problem solving at the same time. And it took years to cultivate that. Yeah, the guild absolutely feels like a family. Everyone is very close. If you're not even playing WoW, which a lot of the times outside the race world first, you play other games for most of the farm period. A lot of these players are playing these games together. A new game comes out, there's 20 people hanging out, all playing the game at the same time. We are very, very close. It was so funny. When I was a hockey player, I feel like I was a terrible leader. And maybe I had to be a terrible leader at some point to be good at it and maybe see it done the wrong way. But I wasn't the captain of my team. I was someone who showed up late for practice and kind of didn't give a shit and was just able to, go off of my talent and not really have to try very hard. And honestly, I think I got really lucky. This ended up working out really well for me and for our team. But I think it's a huge right place, right time thing. Right now in hindsight, I can say all of the classes I skipped and jobs I ended up quitting ended up being worth it because all this ended up happening. But I think it's very possible that we aren't quite this good, or I'm not quite as good or quite as lucky. And then I look at all of that and I'm like, man, you know what? I probably should have focused more on this and less about WoW, Letting people go from this is the single hardest thing I do, but it almost feels bad saying it's hard for me because I know how hard it is for them. I don't have someone, remove people from the guild for me. It has to come from me, I feel like. You're not only firing someone from their current job, you're also probably taking away the thing that makes them the most happy. This is their hobby and their passion and their job. And a lot of the times, it's not really because they're doing anything wrong. Yeah, having to remove people from the guild is genuinely the worst feeling that I've felt in my life. I've been pretty lucky in my life to not suffer a lot of close loss or bad things to happen to me. I'm serious. I have nightmares thinking about waking up and telling someone that I've played with for years and I've met in real life and I know people close to them. I've played thousands of hours of games with these people and I have to be the one to tell them that this isn't going to be a thing anymore. And this isn't like a lot of other sports where they can just go join the next best team. A lot of the times that there isn't another team to go and do this for your job. This is it's the best place to do it. And it's kind of the only place to do it, especially in region. I probably don't deal with it very well. It's not easy for me to just go on a walk or go for a workout or hang out with my dogs and forget something like that. It's a major life impacting thing for another person. It's impossible. And yes, you can approach it like a business. You can say, yes, you know what? With no emotion involved, this is the exact right thing to do to make our team better, which is the only goal. But on a human level, it's so personal and extremely hard to do. I think maybe the way that I deal with it is as bad as I ever feel having to do it. I'm not doing anything wrong, but I have to do it. I know it feels much worse for them. So I would probably not ever want to put myself, as much as it sucks for me and genuinely I hate it more than anything, obviously they're going through something so much worse. It's pretty brutal. Since we've started doing the race, it has been nothing but growth. Every single raid, the viewership numbers beat the previous one, and that's including with the player base going down over the course of an expansion usually. But it's grown into something more than WoW. So many people come up to me in real life that watch the race that don't even play WoW. It's something unique about this that is so watchable, especially watching the players' POVs where You know, you're hearing a group of people that genuinely like each other, solve very hard problems, and play at the highest level, and being able to like witness that and hear that and like hear the ins and outs of it. There's really nothing like it. There's nothing like it in esports in general. And then the fact that it's community run and it's like kind of for the players, by the players, is definitely something that attracts a lot of people. My ambitions for the future, I have like kind of like 2 lives right now. I'm like the top retail WoW content creator, so that's a big ambition of mine. But the thing is that will always fall behind the competitive side of it. In fact, months like these are really, really difficult because it's when I want to be creating the best and most content, but it always falls to the wayside, as it should for any kind of competitive obligations. It's so weird. The Race World First for me is by far the thing I like doing the most. If you were to take streaming away from it, if you were going to take the money and the exposure and the viewership and everything, it was just back to how it used to be, where it's off stream with your friends until it's over. That is what I like doing more than anything else in my life. That is how it is for me currently. I can't really see that changing. If that were to change, I would be the first person to step down. I actually feel pretty strongly about that. If I ever felt like I don't have the same passion for doing this, I'm never going to continue with the team and be that leader or person who's sticking around for the viewership. I would instantly try to always do the best thing for us to compete. But for now, WoW is everything. And we are all the way down with this. I really doubt I could ever see myself stopping.